What's going on, everybody? It is Joey Nohana in the studio shaped like Anthony's Bungler's basement. If you would like to support the show, you can go to falconero.podbean.com, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check us out on our Facebook account page, if you want to call it, facebook.com/FalconEroCast to catch up with all of our episodes. And of course, go to PodBean and listen to all of our older shit, because PodBean is amazing. And I like uploading to it as much as I don't like uploading to YouTube.
Yes.
I'm here with Anthony Caruso. And we are not here with Tyson because he doesn't fucking watch good wrestling ever.
Yes.
So it's just the two of us doing this little review for Sakura Genesis.
Cherry Blossom Genesis.
That is correct. We just finished watching this. And you know what? Everybody praised the Kenny Omega Kazuchika Okada match that took place at Wrestle Kingdom.
6 stars. They got 6 stars from Meltzer.
6-star match. And I believe we have just seen a match that was...
This match blew it out of the water.
If it was not on par, a lot better than it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally a Shibata mark, so I do have a little bit of bias in saying that. But no, I think unequivocally this match, or objectively this match was better.
The match was a lot better for both you and I because we, unlike a lot of people, like wrestling.
Yes. We like
technical wrestling.
Grappling. We like submissions. We like chain wrestling.
Guys that...
Not a lot of flippy shit.
Guys that like to go out there and pretty much prove that they are the bigger man than the other one.
Though I will still say that Omega fucking moonsault into the fucking...
The table?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was cool.
That was cool, but this match had zero weapons.
Yeah.
I don't want to say zero outside interference. There was some outside stuff going on, but
there
it was
outside
not,
stuff, but it wasn't outside interference.
Yeah, there was no interference. There was no tables. There was nothing like that. So that match, we'll get to the match itself. I don't want to praise it too much and forget about the entire card, but for the most part, that match was mostly flash and a lot of cool stuff and cool spots and whatnot.
Got a match, yeah.
Yeah, this match was literally two guys beating the holy fucking hell out of each other for about 20, 30, maybe 40 minutes.
I don't even have the time. It went a while. It had to be probably close to 30, 40 minutes. We should really start recording the time.
We should probably start taking
especially
time
for
stamping.
especially the major matches.
Yeah, because we need to know how much things went. I do know one thing. The Takahashi and Kushida match was maybe about 4 minutes long.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Couldn't have been long at all. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we are also here to discuss everything else that happened on Genesis, even though the main event was fucking great.
The main event is going to be the talking point of the show, but overall, this show was a fun show to watch.
This was hands down an extremely entertaining match. Even the undercard was still pretty good. There wasn't too much.
I very seldom found myself being kind of bored. Like the beginning of the tag team title match.
The Tenzan and Kojima match was a little slow, but
even that picked up at the end.
Picked up considerably well afterwards. So I guess let's get into it then. There was a shitty pre-show match, but I don't really care. It's just a bunch of guys that do a bunch of shit.
Yeah, we don't cover the pre-show matches.
No, I really don't. I honestly really don't care about.
It was just what was it? Fucking Young Lions versus
Jushin Thunder Liger was on the card, or in that match, and I couldn't care any less than I care right now. So I guess the first match on the actual card, because it wasn't a pre-show match, was Makabe, Nagata, Tiger Mask W, and Tiger Mask versus the Tongas, Tongaloa. They call him Tongaroa here, by the way. They can't say L's, apparently. And Tamatonga with Yujiro Takahashi, the Tokyo Pimp, and fucking Chase Owens. And I say that in that exact manner because Chase Owens couldn't have been the oddest guy in this fucking match. Literally the whitest guy.
He was a gaijin and he wasn't tan.
Dude, we have a bunch of great, Japanese performers. The Tongas, who are awesome. Tongan, whatever, the Tongas. Well, Tongaloa, Tamatonga, so come the Tongas.
Well, yeah, but I was also saying that they were also from Tonga.
Who cares? And, I care, but I don't really care. In this situation, I don't care. And the Tokyo Pimp. So everyone's got a nice tan. Everyone's got a nice color to them. Yeah. And then there's old Chase Owens with a fucking pale skin.
Didn't hit the tanning bed before the match.
With a dumpy butt and pale skin and, Bullet Club Rising pants. But anyways, the best part about this match, it was a very standard match.
Yeah.
It was pretty much promoting Tiger Mask W. He did a lot of cool shit. The Golden Triangle Moonsault. It was a lot of things that happened during this match.
He hit the Tyler Driver 97.
No, that was original Tiger Mask. This was all about Tiger Mask W and everything else.
Oh, I thought Tiger Mask did the Tigerplex.
OG Tiger Mask did the Tyler Driver. He stole it from Tyler Bate.
Got my Tiger Mask messed up.
The match ended with Tama Tonga hitting a Ace Crusher on OG Tiger Mask. So
don't you mean an RKO?
Sure.
From out of nowhere.
Whatever you want to call it. These Diamond Cutter. Whatever the fuck you want to call it these days. Yeah. And that's how the Tongans and fucking Dumpy Butt fucking Chase Owens
from the other island. Yeah.
Along with the Tokyo Pimp. Okay, so the match itself, very standard. A lot of cool things happened. You know, Tama Tonga and fucking Tongaloa just cursed. And you know how this goes. They curse a lot. That's the funniest thing about them. And if any of you who are listening to this did not see Wrestle Kingdom 11... I've never heard men curse any more in that match. So it is expected that the Tongas curse a shitload in their fucking matches from here on until they retire. I do want to mention the absolute best thing I heard was in the first 5 minutes of this fucking show. Cyrus from ECW, if anyone remembers Cyrus, was the TNN a producer for the show because it was there was a real ratings there was a backstage issue with ECW and the network and all that. So a man by the name of I totally just lost his name. Don Callis. Jesus Christ. Cyrus. I remember him as Cyrus. So Don Callis is on this show and he is 5 minutes into this event. He is my favorite commentator of all time because the Tokyo Pimp arrives with a very scrumptious looking woman.
Yes.
Who I still don't even know her name. I follow her on Instagram. I scouted this bitch because I saw her on Wrestle Kingdom, so I had to find her. And no joke, her fucking Instagram handle is Muffin Ass.
Well, it's Muffin030 Ass.
Muffin030 Ass. And Don Callis said, well, I don't know if you know this, Kevin Kelly, but her Instagram handle is Muffin Ass. So
greatest Instagram handle of all time.
Very the best. And there was a lot of ass in this. Muffin Ass showed off a lot. The
especially for a Japanese lady. I mean, nothing.
She's got to be
nothing
against
Spanish.
them.
Well, it says so in her Instagram profile.
Yes. So we both
Japanese Latina.
we both creeped on this woman.
Oh,
I mean, she's out. She's showing us her.
Well,
ass.
I mean,
we can't not follow her on Instagram.
Don Callis was promoting it, so obviously they wanted.
Yeah, Muffin Ass. So can't wait to see Muffin Ass. So you want to climax.
If you pervs out there are looking for a nice follow,
here you go.
Muffin030 Ass.
I should change mine to Muffin Ass though. 69. Yoshihashi and RPG Vice versus Minoru Suzuki, Desperado, and my man Takumi Shinoku.
Oh yeah.
So Suzuki-gun versus
Takumi Shinoku from him versus Triple H on a random SmackDown WWE
best match of all time.
Yes.
Better than Andre and Hulk. So we have the Chaos versus the Chaos. We have Chaos versus Suzuki-gun. That's what this match is all about. For the most part, I mean, Suzuki just was a fucking bully half the time. He assaulted Yoshihashi on his entrance. And it was a very short match. Nothing really got out of hand during this match. Yoshihashi fought off against Suzuki and ended up getting the win with Karma on Takumi Shinoku for the win. So that was it. Really nothing much to talk about. The only thing worth talking about was Suzuki being a complete fucking asshole during this entire match.
That's what he does.
Well, yeah, that
fucking using Yoshihashi's fucking cane to fucking beat him with it.
So Suzuki and Anthony over here was very mad about the fact that Suzuki didn't have a higher match on this card.
Fucking Minoru Suzuki, top 4. This I'm also gonna rant a little bit about the New Japan Cup. That in your first round you had Suzuki and Shibata and Ishii versus Omega. That was your first round. That should have been your final 4 right there. You shouldn't have been blowing it. That's your 4 best guys in the company besides the champion. 4 best guys, and Naito too. 4 best guys that don't hold a belt, and you're wasting them all in the first round. I mean, I know you don't want to make it predictable, but fucking tisk. For
anyone that doesn't know out there, the New Japan Cup, I guess for anyone that's listening, because he referred to the New Japan Cup, so I figured I'd just let everybody know what it is. It's in this company, I suppose. There's a lot of tournaments.
Yes.
So the New Japan Cup is whoever wins it goes on to face the champion at
Genesis,
the next pay-per-view. And same with the G1. I think the G1 Climax is a little bigger because it has
G1 because it's for
Wrestle Kingdom.
For the Wrestle Kingdom, yeah.
So, and New Japan likes to do tournaments, and then that's fine because tournaments are fun.
Yes.
I mean, tournaments is the purest form of telling a story you could ever tell.
Yeah.
It's just a competition to get to an end goal. That's
I much
pretty much
prefer
all you
wrestling
got.
at a tournament form than in like a weekly television.
Tournaments are fun because you don't need stories. You can get cool matchups whenever you want.
Whatever the championship is, the story in itself.
And the New Japan Cup was won by our man Katsumi, right? Katsuyori. I said that to pop him or to piss him off to get some heat here in the basement. And he defeated a man, one of the best wrestlers of all time, Bad Luck Fale, to get the honor of facing Okada here at this event.
Fucking Fale,
and Fale, one of the best technical sound wrestlers you'll ever see in your life.
I mean, yeah, cool, I guess, big guy, but he had been doing shit for years before that.
So, we have Taichi and a man that I cannot pronounce his last name, Kanemaru, there you go.
Yoshinobu Kanemaru.
The current IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions going up against the Bookers, the booking committee.
Yes. Very rare that you have the fucking guys who are booking the show
in a tag match who booked themselves in a junior title match, no less. So Gato and Jado.
Yes. Dudes combination like 90.
Take on and the funny thing is, if you're watching this as a fan or guys like us who kind of know things, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's known that these guys book the show.
Yeah.
But it's just hilarious to see that two guys who own the book, who run the book, who write the book for every storyline in this company are just putting themselves in junior title matches. They can put themselves in any match they want. Yeah. They could put themselves in a match against each other for the world title, but they're here doing junior title matches to put young talent over.
Unlike, I don't want to name names, but Kevin Nash, they put the company first.
To be fair, WCW was a crock of shit.
Oh, well, yeah.
That promotion was complete fucking garbage, and no one cares. For the most part, I could get into the actual match itself, but I think the interaction between Jado, and your girl, Honest Abe, I keep calling her.
Miho
Abe. So, Muffin Ass
and Honest
Abe appeared on this show. Instantly a classic. Yes. I mean, I need this DVD for future reference. So Miho Abe gets in the ring and starts harassing both gentlemen who want no part of her.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember Jado just palming this bitch in the face. Yeah. And it was hilarious. It was extremely amusing and extremely entertaining. And same thing with Gato.
He was probably like happily married with kids and shit.
Gato wanted no part of it.
He doesn't need this young girl.
Here's the thing. Jado was literally face palming this woman. Literally. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding you. Face palming this chick when she tried to touch up on him and antagonize him. And she goes over to Gato in the corner of the ring and he's just like, nope. Don't want any part of that. Don't care. Get away from me. Stop. And she goes, are you sure? No, I'm okay. Totally okay.
Thanks, but no thanks.
So the bookers, the booking committee, started things early as they took down the faces with dual cross faces. Yes. But they got their comeuppance on the outside. Kanemaru took out Gato with a leg drop on the top of the barricade, and Jado was jumped after a distraction by Taichi's valet, otherwise known as Honest Abe, on this show. What happened after this? Oh, Jado made the hot tag, and after putting Kanemaru in the crossface, nearly had it won. But Desperado pulled the referee out and freely ran in to interfere in the match. Roppongi Vice came in for the save and wiped it out of Desperado. Everybody got in at the point. Wiped it out of Desperado. What does that even mean? Everybody got in at one point.
Wiped out Desperado, I'm sure is what you meant to say.
Yeah, that is true. Everybody got in at one point with the finale being Taichi hitting Jado in the throat with the microphone stand. That was your finish.
Yeah.
A man.
The microphone stand that Taichi uses to quote unquote sing his entrance that's not even plugged in.
Holy shit.
He's the worst.
Hold on a second.
He's worse than Beyonce at lip sync.
Why didn't I write this down? Yeah. So let's go back real quick. Let's rewind to the beginning of this fucking match, okay? This fucking guy, not only there's a very attractive looking woman that comes out prior to his entrance. And she comes out and she just looks hot and does the hot girl things and all that stuff. And my man comes out with a microphone stand and a mic. Okay, that's fine. I guess he's a singer or a pop star, whatever. His theme starts playing. He wants you to believe he is singing his own theme song. However, the microphone is not plugged in.
And he's not even singing half
He's
the time.
lip syncing in the worst. He's holding the mic extremely close to his mouth. And he's going, and he's just mumbling to himself as there's a full-fledged theme going on.
He really feels like a fucking Sailor Moon villain who's like, his gimmick is like he fucking sings people to sleep or like till they're like unconscious. So
Boy,
he can
oh
take over the
boy.
world.
That was the first thing I noticed. I could not believe that this is a gimmick. You're going to send the guy out there with a microphone that's not plugged in. So where's
at least get to fake it and have the fucking the wireless pack on the bottom, but you can see like the unplugged part of it. Like,
you can see
the prong where the prongs are.
You can see.
They didn't even do a good enough job taping it up.
And then Don Callis says, this guy's really good at lip syncing. At least Taguchi tries.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. RPG Vice came back in after the match, and they argued with Taichi's use over the ring bell hammer, which was used. I don't remember anything about this being used. I didn't see this ring bell hammer at all.
What's her name? Honest Abe.
I know, but that's the joke, because they were trying to hide it so bad.
Yeah.
This chick had a fucking bell in her ass, stuck, and tried to hide it from everybody else the whole time. Taichi shrugged. They challenged for the junior tag team title, setting up the next title program between the Pop Stars and RPG Vice, I suppose. So once again, Chaos and Suzuki-gun go at it.
Yeah. So wait, so Chaos drops the belts, and two other guys from Chaos get a shot. Now the other guys from Chaos that dropped the belts get a shot. Fucking Jesus Christ.
That's New Japan for you.
Yep.
If anyone's not following this, by the way, there is a lot of factions in New Japan. We have Chaos, which was the OG, which was Bullet Club before Bullet Club was Bullet Club.
Yes.
They became the baby faces of the
Bullet
promotion.
Club got involved, yeah.
So now we have Suzuki-gun, who is a heel stable.
Yeah.
We have the Los Ingobernables, the Japón, which is also a heel stable. So we got 3 heel stables and 1 face stable, which was originally a heel stable.
Yeah.
So that just goes to tell you that basically New Japan's the Warriors.
And then whatever they fucking called that fucking group with Taguchi, was it Taguchi and Tanahashi and Ricochet and Juice Robinson?
I have no idea that the Shade guys, the Ray-Ban stunners. I have no idea what they're gonna call those guys.
Pro Wrestling. Funky Weapon Pro Wrestling.
Funky Weapon. Oh boy, I can't wait to get to that match. Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano, who is very out of place.
Yeah.
Very out of place. I made this statement while we were watching this that Toru Yano he's a comedy guy.
Yeah.
However, he's in Chaos, and you can't take him serious.
Well, you're not supposed to take him seriously.
Yeah, he can't. Why is he he's in a stable with a bunch of guys who are so much more intimidating than him.
Well, that's like the entertainment value. Like, I actually think this is great. Like, the whole pairing of him and Ishii as a tag team. Like, Ishii's super serious, like, doesn't ever crack a smile. And then Toru Yano's fucking with the fucking
selling DVDs.
Yes. Shilling
constantly.
Yeah. I think it was a fantastic pairing.
So we have 2 men from Chaos versus Kenny Omega and motherfucking Bad Luck Fale. Now, if you know anything about Kenny Omega, who was the hottest topic of conversation a few months ago, this is what he's doing. He's maybe wrestling in the 4th match on the card.
Yeah, he's been mid-carding for a while.
Mid-carding, and I am only assuming, I will not book anything for anybody, or try to book, but at some point down the line, Mr. Omega will indeed get back into the title picture, because
for sure.
If he was to be re-signed after the whole...
Omega's not gonna mid-card. He didn't re-sign to mid-card.
That's what I hope. Yeah. I hope that was in the contract.
Yeah.
It says no mid-carding for me all year long.
They know he's a draw. He'll be back there. They're just...
Well, he's going to be there.
Taking his time.
They're going to be his big guy going into the G1 Climax, I suppose, in Los Angeles or in Long Beach.
I wonder, just thinking about it now, if what happened at the end of the show may lead to things... Maybe lead to Omega doing things with that person later on.
Bad Luck Fale and Kenny Omega.
Maybe a possible Bullet Club breakup, which, by God, it needs it. Or at least
Bullet Club breakup. They've been broken up. We have the Gorillas of Destiny and the underbelly of the Bullet Club.
This might be the Wolfpack
They're not even an organization anymore. Yeah. They're all in different hotel rooms and different hotel companies these days.
This might be where the black and white and the what you call it, the black and red.
Please stop. We have the Tama Club. We have the Bullet Club Rising with guys with such great performers like Chase Owens. And then we have literally the most relevant team ever, the Elite of the Bullet Club, who should just be called the Elite because why be affiliated with the Bullet Club anymore? The Bullet Club is in WWE now. We don't care anymore. It's fine that Fale wants to hang on so desperately, but get the guy a new gimmick. He could be a big bad fucking large man all by himself. He doesn't need Bullet Club on the back of his shirt. No. The Bullet Club's done. Yeah. The only cool thing about the Bullet Club is that Kenny Omega came out with a fucking Tekken Bullet Club shirt, and I could not fucking believe it, and I must buy this shirt because Tekken is the best fucking fighting game on the face of the earth. So Kenny Omega comes out in his quote-unquote house show gear. Goes to show you how much he cares about this match.
Meanwhile, this is not like top-level pay-per-view, but this is the big one for spring for them.
Most of this match is Yano's theatrics with Fale doing a lot of tomfoolery, as it were. There was a lot of Kenny and Toru comedy that was extremely entertaining.
I enjoyed this match. I thought it was
fun. It was fun. I mean, hello, it's Toru Yano. Yeah.
I mean, I generally like more serious wrestling, but when comedy's done right in wrestling, like it's fun. And I generally like what Yano does.
I got to see a bunch of men beat each other over the head with a turnbuckle pad, which in Japan is like boxing pads, so they're not exactly little fucking pads. These are large karate pads that you'd kick on in the fucking gym. So it's probably a lot better for the backs of these wrestlers to bump off of, I suppose. Ishii got in this match along with Kenny, and both of these guys practically murdered each other because it's Ishii. Yeah. What do you expect? Kenny goes for the one-winged angel.
Ishii knows any other level besides trying to maim his opponent. Yeah.
Kenny goes for the one-winged angel on Ishii. Yano interferes, distracts the ref, then gives a low blow to Kenny Omega to save the match after Ishii fucking shoulder blocks Kenny into oblivion. Omega eventually recovers and hits Ishii with the one-winged angel for the win. So, the relevant Bullet Club member and the irrelevant Bullet Club member, who might not be irrelevant so long,
I would say, not the way the story's going,
go over in this competition. Now the match that I must talk about, and it will be talked about. Fuck Shibata and Okada. This was the match of the night. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Ryusuke Taguchi, and King Ricochet versus Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, Evil, and Bushi. No, those are all different guys. Yeah. That's all one guy's name. Evil and Bushi. There is a man on this team.
Not Evil Bushi?
No. There is a man in this team called Evil. Let that sink in.
Yeah, it's they tried a little too hard with him. Like he comes out in the whole Grim Reaper
thing.
Like
fucking guy.
You couldn't figure out that it was evil. They had to name him Evil.
Oh my god. This motherfucker, right, comes out in a, I want to say like a Grim Reaper fucking outfit to get at Party City.
The hood, the scythe and everything.
Straight up, man. The whole gimmick he comes out in. And I pointed it out to Anthony. I said, see, Naito's the star of this team. Because it's as a group, they're the Ingobernables de Japón. So they're one big faction. And they're the most over faction, I suppose, in the entire world at the moment. But that could be argued. Well, in Japan, they're extremely over in Japan.
I don't know. Suzuki-gun's pretty safe return. But they're still pretty
new. They're better than the Bullet Club. That's for sure. And so Naito comes out in a hoodie and a fucking hat. I mean, very basic and generic. I mean, he's promoting the brand by wearing his stuff.
Yeah.
Sanada comes out in a mask and a leather jacket. That's fine. No big deal there. Bushi comes out in, like, he wears a mask all the time. So that's another thing that's not quite bad. And then you've got the full fucking Grim Reaper outfit that was purchased off of cosplayhouse.com for the sole purpose of looking like an asshole.
Is that a real website?
Yes. Trust me, I know. In the early going of this match, there was a 4-man train with all 4 babyfaces clotheslining the living shit out of Bushi. The climax of this spot was for Juice Robinson and Ricochet to drive Bushi's face into Taguchi's fucking asshole that was propped up on the turnbuckle. I shit you not, okay? So adding on to the tomfoolery of this pay-per-view so far, we're only 5 matches deep, and we've already had a ton of tomfoolery.
Yes.
Taguchi sets up on the second rope, bends over and allows his ass to be out in the open, to which two men drove another man's head.
It wasn't his ass. It was the funky weapon.
The funky weapon.
Which, by the way, wouldn't that classify as like a foreign object? Shouldn't that be a DQ?
It's his ass. It's a part of his body. How is it
still,
DQ?
It's a weapon. No weapons.
I'll do this alone. Get out. Ricochet gets in this match midway through, and I could have swore this was a scene straight out of a kung fu movie. Ricochet kicks the living shit out of Naito, and I believe it was Evil. I'm not quite sure if it was Evil or Sonata. I don't think it was Bushi. But the end of this match was fucking amazing and ridiculous all at the same time. Everyone got their shit in, basically. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Taguchi attempted the funky weapon, okay? The hip attack. However, for some reason, he completely fails to hit anyone and kills himself.
He missed it, flied all the way across the ring and out underneath the bottom rope.
If you've ever seen somebody completely miss a hip attack, it is the most unbelievably fucking hilarious thing you'll ever see in your life. We've seen guys miss clotheslines. That's fine. They just kind of, jump off, or they come back off the rope and whatnot. This man threw his whole fucking ass. Caution to the wind. The whole butt was out there. Okay? The whole butt. He practically dies. Yeah. He falls on his own ass and goes to the outside.
This totally overshadowed, not 2 seconds before that, Ricochet totally overselling a codebreaker. Where he took the codebreaker and rolled. They sold it like the Rock sold the Thunder.
Man, we had Naito in this match. We had Ricochet, and boy, Naito and Ricochet, don't let them run a fucking hot dog joint. They'll sell anything to anybody for any price. They must
be great businessmen.
Holy fuck. There was a lot. There's selling, and then there's really selling, and then these guys really died out there. I could have swore that they were murdered. Juice Robinson wins it for the Team Babyface, or Team Stunashades, whatever you want to call them, with a ridiculous unprettier, or kill switch, for all you old school TNA fans. However, the name of this move... 1 second. Hold on. I have to breathe before I say this. Like I said, it was an unprettier. However, since it's Juice Robinson, the move, his finisher is called Pulp Friction. Pulp Friction.
I don't know. I thought it was a fun pun.
For a guy named Juice Robinson. I kind of want to stop doing this because Juice Robinson.
Oh, come on, man.
Juice. I couldn't stand it anyway. There's too many references. Too many references. Too many at one time. It's just a little unbelievable. But however, Juice Robinson challenged Naito for a Intercontinental Championship match. So I suppose Juice Robinson is very over with the crowd these days.
Yeah, they like him. Good for him. He's been moving up pretty quickly. He started in the dojo. Like he had the WWE name. He probably didn't have to start as a young boy, as a young lion.
Did he start in the dojo and then went to the dub?
Well, no. I mean, after he got released from NXT.
Oh, he went to the dojo.
He was in the dojo. He was one of the young lions. He was doing what they do. They wrestle the opening matches, then they hang around the ring and they ice pack. Yeah, he did all that shit, and in like a year's time.
How long has he been gone from WWE?
Year and a half, maybe 2 years at this point, but I mean not too long.
CJ Parker, right? Was his name in the WWE? Okay, yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, NXT.
Yeah, it might be about 2 years.
CJ Parker, the guy that the guy who busted open Kevin Owens in his first match.
Yeah, that fucking Shote.
Yeah. That's pretty much who we're talking about here. He got released shortly thereafter, and then went on to apparently start challenging for the fucking IWGP Intercontinental Championship.
I like him. He's not a flashy guy, but he can talk, and give him a good gimmick, and he can go. I like him facing Naito.
He's not a bad guy, except his fucking finisher is called Pulp Friction.
Get over it, dude.
Never. I will never get over this shit. I could not. I wanted to stop watching this. I had to go outside and just take a breather real quick from what I just fucking heard. Tenzan and Kojima versus War Machine for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. War Machine basically beat the shit out of Kojima in the beginning of this match.
Yeah. It was really slow, though.
This was a match that, Anthony thought it was going to cut the momentum that this pay-per-view had. Yeah. But it was actually, to be fair, the slowest point of this entire pay-per-view. And that's not saying it was terrible.
No, it started off really slow, but it did build to a nice finish.
Yeah. Though. Oh, this got way more interesting as it went on.
And I'm I don't know why, but I am a big Kojima mark for like no reason. He hit the fucking chop, elbow drop, Chazabaki gimmick and spot, and I was all about it. I was all invested after that.
War Machine, I saw War Machine at, I believe, what was the last show I saw? Maybe it was The New Beginning. I don't remember what the last show was. But it
maybe Honor Rising. Did you watch Honor Rising?
It was Honor Rising. I'm sorry. Yeah, with the Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
So I saw that, and War Machine was on there, and they took on the Young Bucks. And I swear to God, Hanson and Raymond Rowe. Okay, Hanson's a large man.
Yes.
And if you want me to,
even larger beard.
Yeah. Well, if you want me to compare him to somebody, I would probably say Killian Dane or Damo, however you want to call him.
Yeah, they're
same stature,
similar body type.
Same body type, same thing. And this guy. So you would think a large man and a fairly Tommy End looking guy who's a little bigger than Tommy End against the Young Bucks wouldn't be so great. That match was fucking amazing. And War Machine is fucking great. Yeah. These guys, for two large guys and guys who look like Vikings and just look like they could just beat guys up for a living, they could go out there and really bust their ass.
Yeah.
And they did it in this match because Hanson goes for a fucking 300-pound moonsault.
Yeah.
He missed it, landed right on his fucking gut, but nonetheless, a man who's 300 pounds did a fucking moonsault.
You know, we've been seeing bigger guys do more athletic moves more and more in wrestling, but still, every time they do it, it's
entertaining.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It's also a you got to give credit to these guys because they're large men and they're going out there and basically they could, because they're larger, they could kill themselves a lot quicker and a lot easier than a lot of guys. So you have
their
to
opponents for that matter if they fuck up, you know.
Well, we saw what Heavy Machinery did to the poor Bollywood boys.
Yeah.
So fat guys are making a comeback, everybody. The Beer City Bruiser versus Hanson for the world title at some point in my life. Then, after the moonsault that was missed by Hanson, he got a nice little Koji cutter for his troubles. After some really good close 2 counts and some phenomenal acrobats by Hanson, as I stated before, War Machine wins with the fallout to win the straps over the 2 seasoned veterans. So Hanson and Raymond Rowe are now the new tag team champions.
Nice to have that Gaijin presence holding the belt.
Are they the only Gaijins holding the belts? Any belt for that matter?
I don't remember who the never 6-man champions are.
Ricochet.
Oh, yeah, Ricochet, Tanahashi,
and fucking Taguchi.
Taguchi, yeah.
The funky weapon.
Yeah.
So technically at the moment, War Machine has the tag belts.
So War Machine and then I guess Ricochet.
Ricochet has the one of 3 titles, along with 2 guys who has no business fucking having belts with. It's really, really awkward. The teams in this show, when you see guys team up, it's really, I mean, I get it for show purposes and for, on the road type deal, and it's just prevent guys from overworking, but it's just really awkward seeing.
Yeah, you do see a lot of that.
Tanahashi, Taguchi, and Ricochet.
On the house shows, The
next match we have is the first of 3 main events, because actually, no, the semi-main was not much of a semi-main to begin with, so this is the semi-main event in my mind.
It was the cool-down match.
Yeah, it was, yes. The cool-down match was, in fact, the semi-main. So technically, this was one of the 3 main events on this show. Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr. for the Never Openweight title. Holy fuck. Now, we talked about Shibata, we talked about Okada a little bit. We'll get into a lot more when we get to that match. But this match was basically akin to that one. Because if it was not...
Well, akin to the early part of the Shibata-Okada match. As far as... Are you talking about as far as like...
the mat work.
Yeah, the mat work in the Okada-Shibata match was early on. It got physical at the second half.
You're right.
Really
the Zack Sabre Goto match didn't get too physical. It was just
until the very end because of the fuck finish. But or the attempt at it, I should say.
When you have a fucked finish and it doesn't go your way, it's not a fucked finish anymore. So the match starts off with some really good mat wrestling, which was the theme of this match.
Well, the whole mat wrestling from Sabre, fucking Goto almost said no. Goto got worked like most of this match.
Goto, I remember, slapped the living shit out of Zack's chest against Turnbuckle to try to get in some non-shoot or some non-shoot wrestling attacks. Yeah. Some straight up brawling type deal. And then Zack kicked Goto's wrist at one point when he tried to attempt for a rope, or he got the rope break, and that became the focus for Zack Sabre Jr. Every single time that Goto tried to get a power move over on Zack or some form of offense, he was shut down extremely quickly.
Yeah.
That man could not do jack shit during this match. No. Zack Sabre Jr., if I had to describe to anyone who doesn't know who Zack Sabre Jr. is or what he does or what type of wrestling he does, imagine just seeing a guy literally not move from one position and just go all the way around a guy in different maneuvers, different submissions. He wears you down, but not in a power moves, no suplexes, no fucking nothing.
He's not fan. He doesn't do flip. Like, you think he's a very lanky fellow.
You can't do too many power moves.
He doesn't do power moves. You think he do flips. He doesn't do any flips.
No.
He'll strike with you a little bit, but most of his game is a ground game, submission based. But it's very quick and it's very different than a lot of other submission wrestlers. So it's very interesting. It doesn't. You'd think it might sound slow and boring, but it's not.
It is not, because
the way he applies the moves, the way he transitions to move, it's very interesting.
And I think in New Japan Pro Wrestling, if you're comparing it to WWE, I mean, WWE, you see a couple of rest holds here and there, but it's really fucking boring.
Submission wrestling in WWE is
not that great, because it's always the same shit.
Yeah.
For Zack Sabre Jr., I have seen 10 different submission maneuvers I've never seen in my entire life in one match in the span of 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's how great this guy is. He works you in a way that you never thought you could be worked.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stretching, and there's no blood, there's no slaps, there's no punches, there's no maneuvers, there's no turn. I don't even think the man touched the turnbuckle at all during this match.
Yeah.
That's the appeal for Zack Sabre Jr. And a lot of people, depending on who you are, like it, like us. I like shoot wrestling.
Yeah.
Mat wrestling is the best form of wrestling to me, because it's the only way to prove who's the better man. And it tells a story in and of its own.
Submission based with a bit of striking. That's
fine. So Goto just got fucking stretched in this match. Let's put it that way. Goto goes for an elbow drop and gets trapped by Sabre in an armbar, which translated into 8 different submission maneuvers. I am not joking with you. At one point, I lost track of what he was doing. I am not even joking. And I couldn't explain a single one of them. Sabre has him in an octopus stretch maneuver, which is countered by Goto.
That's like the one.
That's the only thing I can remember. Goto countered it with an Ushigoroshi, but before he can attempt a pinfall, Suzuki-gun attempts to aid Sabre in a fuck finish to win the match. However, Goto is able to fend them off.
Yeah. This was basically going back to, pre-New Japan Cup, the show before the New Japan Cup, because Minoru Suzuki and Shibata were scheduled to face in the opening round. Shibata had a match with Sabre for the Rev Pro title, which is one of the major promotions in the UK. So to send a message, Suzuki came out and tried to fuck that finish up and did the whole same thing, did the Gotch style pile driver, and then that had Sabre join Suzuki-gun. So they were going for the same thing with Goto here.
And after Goto fends off the Suzuki-gun assailants,
which is mostly just Minoru Suzuki. But,
No, I think Desperado was out there too.
He might have been, but it was mostly Suzuki that was doing the work there, because he was trying
to fuck the finish.
Trying to send the message there.
Anyways, Goto wins this match with 2 GTRs to win, despite being fucking dominated 90% of this match.
Yeah.
Really. I mean,
more than 90%, I'd say.
I guess we'll wait for I'll wait for the Shibata and Okada match to make a point, but it's along the lines of the psychology that goes into stuff like this, and I have a strong opinion that maybe not a lot of people agree with, but I kind of have to get it off my chest. But the match after this, Hiromu...
Before that, this will also set up for in the future, and I'm kind of looking forward to this, a Goto-Suzuki rivalry for the Never Openweight Championship. So
I want to see Sabre again.
I mean, me too.
I love Zack Sabre Jr.
Me too, but I'm actually kind of looking forward to Goto and Suzuki. So
Hiromu Takahashi versus Kushida for the IWGP Junior title. I wish I could go on, but this match didn't last more than like 3 minutes.
No, from bell to bell, it didn't last very long. It looked like Kushida. I couldn't remember his name for a second.
Kushida. He's got one name.
Yeah. He got early offense in on the outside, but then once they got in the ring,
he didn't even let Takahashi get in the ring before he assaulted him. I guess someone tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey guys, remember that 15-minute match you were supposed to get? Because the Shibata and Okada match kind of go a little longer, you're gonna get 3 minutes.
Yeah, get all your shit in, but in 3 minutes."
And Kushida goes, "Oh fuck, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to be a real time splitter for this to really go down." So the man literally had to work with time for real. Kushida doesn't even let Takahashi get in the ring. He bumps to the outside before the match even starts. After Kushida bullies Takahashi around, Hiromu does a fucking sunset flip, which dropped Kushida right on his fucking back. Literally square on his back. And you wonder why these guys get hurt very easily or are in pain for the most of their adult or senior lives. Nothing new from these guys because they practically killed each other at Wrestle Kingdom. prior to this. Then literally out of nowhere, Takahashi hits 2 time bombs, ends the match in less than 5 minutes. And that was it. Then Ricochet came out. Ricochet and Taguchi came out. Well, Taguchi came out prior to this. Taguchi was randomly at the side of the ring. I have no idea why.
Taguchi, Joey doesn't watch New Japan.
I don't watch it. I don't watch it from show to show, so I don't know.
Taguchi's pretty much out for every fucking Kushida match.
Match.
Almost every.
Never comes out with the guy. He could at least appear with him on the, as a valet. He was just out there fucking standing, and Kevin Kelly goes, "Well, there goes Taguchi. There goes the funky weapon." And I went, "What the fuck is he doing out here?" Didn't say shit. He didn't tell me anything. Ricochet and Taguchi come out to aid Kushida after getting completely squashed. Ricochet then challenges Takahashi to a match for the belt.
I actually thought this was going to spoil the Battle of the Super Juniors, because that's coming up, I believe, early to mid-May. That'll start. So I thought that he was declaring himself, and I figured since come out, make the save against the heel champion, cut the promo, that it was at least going to have him in the finals of Battle of Super Juniors. But he's actually going to get a match, I guess, beforehand.
I haven't seen too much Ricochet, so I don't know too much. I know about the Ospreay match, but I've been told that it's nothing but a big spot fest. So
a lot of people like spot fest. Yeah. So, I mean, it depends on the style of wrestling. I watched it. It was fun. It was overhyped because I'm not the biggest spot fest fan.
To be fair, I say that, but I'm not 100% on board with the fact that I'm just a straight up shoot guy. There's a lot of spotty stuff that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just in small doses. For me, I think we can say for the most part that we like the shoot style.
Oh yeah,
maybe heavy striking, but you mix in some other elements and it's fun. I don't want to see it. Like, that's why I don't cling to Lucha Libre so much, because it's a show full of spot fests.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah,
there's spots, and then there's Lucha, which is basically comprised of guys doing spots, but in the worst way, for no apparent reason, accomplishing absolutely nothing, and doing it very badly.
That is the problem with spot-heavy matches. There's a lot of unnecessary movement.
Lucha is okay if you can do what you're doing correctly, and if you do something that makes sense.
And it's very botch-heavy, which, I mean, I don't want to get too heavy on the works, but I mean, if you're going to do these professionally and people are going to spend money to see it, don't fuck them up half the time. Looking at you, Sin Cara.
Oh my lord. And not only that, but it's the fact that I alluded to before we started talking about it, the fact that if you're going to do lucha shit, it has to have a purpose.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think it was PWG. I think it was Phoenix or somebody from fucking Lucha Underground came over. And I just remember seeing a whole lot of flips and a whole lot of spins to accomplish a fucking arm drag.
Yeah. And now, like, as we get into a lot of other wrestling and you see the more of the lucha elements and the spot heavy elements incorporated, like, it's cool to see, like, once, but then you start
every goddamn night.
And then you see it over and over and over again. It really starts to lose its appeal. And I get that that's the oversaturation of wrestling, and now that everything is so available to us as fans.
I say, and here's the thing, that makes me a hypocrite a little bit, because my favorite match of last year, we never got into anything from our favorite matches or anything like that, but my favorite match, if you ask me right now, 2016, was PWG, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks versus Will Ospreay, Ricochet, and Matt Sydal. It was the best match I've maybe ever seen. Spot-wise. It was a very good spot match. It was very executed very, very well.
Hey, man, sometimes, like, even if you
it was a lot of fun.
It's fun to watch. But like I said, just sometimes, especially if you're in a mood where you've seen it a lot, it can...
wears off.
It doesn't... You don't get the same ooh-ah factor that you get from...
And I think before we get into the Okada and Shibata match, we'll eventually... Well, this is a good alluding to that match itself. The reason why New Japan, for me personally, is so amazing... And the reason why it's very much appealing is because it is almost, it's treated like a sport. Yeah. It's acted like a sport. Not acted, I don't want to say acted. That's a stupid thing to say. It's performed like a sport. Yeah. And these guys compete like it's a sport.
Yeah.
And I know everyone says wrestling's fake, and that's fine and all, but you tell these guys that, they'll kick your fucking ass.
Just, I don't mean to spoil something, but just look at the shot of fucking Shibata after he headbutts Okada and he's smile on his face and the blood starts coming down.
Leave that. Yeah. Hold on. We'll get into that. That was a very good spot. But yes, a man legitimately was bleeding because of a maneuver that a lot of people do. We'll get into that in a second because I really do want to talk about that. But long story short, it's the fact that the strong style is very stiff.
Yeah.
Stiff means real. You hear it. You can feel it. You understand it. And there is nothing more understanding than a guy getting fucking chopped really hard in the chest, because you can hear it. It's very audible.
There are ways for to take these moves that they don't kill you, but it doesn't mean these moves don't hurt. It doesn't mean this.
And that's the reason why these guys have my respect, is because they're not out there to put on a good show. They're out there to kill each other for real. Okay, I can believe that these men could hold themselves in a fight any day of the fucking week against anybody.
And when you look at most of the New Japan roster, most of them have an MMA background,
tough fucking guys.
They're all
man.
legit fighters.
If you honestly, and this is just a small little plug, but if you honestly don't give a fuck about WWE anymore, and you want some MMA and UFC to go with your wrestling, but you can't get it because with WWE you can't get that. Watch New Japan. It is literally as close as you get to actual UFC and wrestling combined.
It's great wrestling. You're not oversaturated with wrestling because there's generally less of the major storyline telling to watch, so you have more free time. And now they're really starting to get more English commentary, so if the language barrier was an issue, you can follow it mostly in English now. I mean, a lot of maybe the middle parts of tournaments like the New Japan Cup and Battle of Super Juniors and G1, you might have to watch in Japanese, but I think once you start watching the wrestling, you'll be hooked. Yeah, you'll get over the language barrier.
You won't really care. It's I don't want to say it's like anime, because anime has subs and whatnot, so you can follow it a lot easier. If you're not into reading, then that's your problem. But with wrestling and with this style of wrestling, you don't really need subtitles. You don't really need to be told what's going on. They're kicking each other's ass.
I'm going to call you out here. He just made fun of people for not wanting to read subs in the smuggest way possible. Rewind 3 years ago.
Oh my god.
This guy was so anti-subs when it came to anime.
Yeah, because I was a fucking asshole and a fag. What do you want me to do about it?
So
I literally
don't listen to this guy preaching to you about not wanting to read.
Well, okay, so I made mistakes as a younger man with longer hair and small muscles. Yeah, I was gay, and I watched fucking Bleach dubbed, and then I finally became a man and started watching subs. But same goes for. But I've never watched New Japan. Well, actually, you know what? The Japanese commentary is kind of a lot better than the English commentary sometimes.
I was actually just listening to Salamonster say this today, and it's such a good point that I have no idea what they're saying,
but you don't really
they say
care.
It with such conviction and such passion that it hooks you in. You don't.
And that could be same thing could go for anime. Yeah, because in the English version, you get little to no emotion from
especially
some people.
Older school dubs. The emotion and the acting, the voice acting was not.
It's very
high quality,
uninspiring. Yes. And then you watch subs, and you could feel these people telling you a story, or you could feel what they're saying. And that's same thing goes for the commentary. So if you don't care about language barriers and you don't really need to hear what they're saying,
and you're not missing much because there's not a lot of promos in Japan anyway.
There's no stories. The story's in the ring. That's all you need to know.
There are. That's a bit of a misrepresentation. There are stories. They're just not as. They're not told through promos and backstage segments like WWE for the most part.
Well, you'll never find out if Hiroki Goto actually had the child with that bastard woman that Goto or that Suzuki claims that he had sex with at a bar one night. Yes, you're never gonna get anything like that. Goto and
you don't get those. You don't get those bullshit stories. The story is you want to be the best in the company.
That's it.
Title belts. It's
Ricochet came out and said, "Hey, Takahashi." Was Takahashi, right? That was that match?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Takahashi, I want to face you for the belt. The crowd fucking went apeshit. Yeah. Because they don't care about anything other than guys challenging other guys for belts. That's it. That's all that matters.
I'm pretty sure I said this about WWE on the podcast before about WWE. If you treat this like a real sport, which is which is what they want people to buy into, people will respect it as one. Yeah, they'll understand that it is scripted, but they'll buy in if you make it feel as real as possible.
This might be borderline a wrestling / people who don't watch wrestling rant, or people who have opinions about wrestling that are fucking completely retarded. But if you pay attention to the Japanese wrestling and you say something like, "Oh, this is fake, this is this is that," they go out of their way to get ice bags in the ring.
Yes.
They go out of their way to make sure that you understand that this is a sport.
Yeah.
So you could sit here and say, well, that's fake and all that, it's scripted. That's fine and all. But here's the thing. When you pay for a UFC pay-per-view and it ends in 5 minutes, how pissed off are you going to be? You just lost $64.
Yeah.
Or you could pay, however, I don't even know if there's any pay-per-view. I don't know if New Japan World or if they do pay-per-views in Japan.
I think they do. I think they do. I don't know. I'm not sure how it works, but
you could pay to watch a good 4-hour event with guys basically killing each other, but it's a work.
Yeah.
But they're killing each other.
That's why I respect UFC and I respect mixed martial arts, but I can't get into it just because of you're not always getting
your money's worth.
Yeah, like I respect it, but what I like about pro wrestling is the pageantry, is the storytelling inside the ring.
People want to say things about, WWE and UFC and whatnot, and the whole scripted versus real thing, and that's fine. Whatever you feel, that's up to you. However, me personally, UFC, if I pay $60 goddamn for a pay-per-view,
I want the main event to go an hour.
Every fucking match better go 12 fucking rounds.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna sit there and tell me, well, it's real, guys get hurt for real, that's fine, dude. Yeah. But I'm not gonna pay for that then. I'll just watch it and go about my day. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here with the boys and get beers and pizza and beer, or I said that again, more beer, and watch a fucking 60-second match.
Yeah. I want to buy into a in-ring storyline
and feel the hits
and be entertained. But yes, also watch the savagery.
There's a whole lot of it on here. Speaking of savagery, Okada versus Shibata.
The main event.
IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. And we alluded to this before. We've already kind of mildly spoke about it.
Yeah.
This was, if not on par, better than the Kenny Omega and Okada match at Wrestle Kingdom earlier on this year.
I said before, I'm a big Shibata mark, so this is better than the Okada.
I like
Okada Omega match.
I was on board for this because I've seen Shibata here and there. Anthony, of course, goes a lot more further back than I do with Shibata, but from what I've seen from the guy, he's basically Zack Sabre Jr. ramped up to 11 with a lot more harder hits.
He's a taller, more aggressive.
Looks great, works great, hits hard. There's nothing else you can ask from a guy.
He is my ideal, if I were to build a prototype of wrestler, it would be Katsuyori Shibata.
And he's very simple, guys. Everybody's got merch these days in wrestling. Okay, Okada's got the Rainmaker stuff. Tanahashi's got the 1 out of 100, the Ace, all this colorful, great shit. My man Shibata, has a towel that says The Wrestler in Arial font. Yeah. No crazy font. Literally the basic typing font.
Yeah.
And that's it. And maybe a Japanese flag.
He wears black trunks with just a Japanese flag on it.
That's it.
There's no frills with this
guy.
Dude
is cut and paste. And in a world where we live in, where wrestling is very colorful, it's almost like less is more nowadays. Yeah. We don't want any more. We just want some less, very basic stuff.
Same reason why we like the Revival, why we like Shibata.
Same thing. The match itself. The match starts off with some shoot wrestling.
Yes.
Why did I write that down? The whole match was a shoot. Okada really gets worked over pretty well in the early going. Much like the Goto match, every time Okada tries to establish some form of offense, Shibata is right there to cut him off and work him over and show him up.
The early part of this match was maybe the weakest I've ever seen Okada look.
Okada is the world champion here, and I believe he's had this reign since he beat Tanahashi last year. I know he lost to Naito, but if you take that away, who was the last champion?
Well, before him, was it AJ or was it Tanahashi? I'm trying to remember the whole passing back and forth between the three of them. Well, either way, Naito was the last one of the champ, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, but Okada's been the guy. Man.
Yeah, when Naito had the title, he wasn't really the guy, which I don't understand. I don't understand that, but that's something we can talk about later. Because I thought Naito was at the peak of his heel run with Los Ingobernables. But
that's a mouthful still this day.
But I don't remember what the amount of days I said, but apparently he's closing in on some big names for length of title reign. He's closing in on Tatsumi Fujinami and Antonio Inoki, so those are big names in Japan.
Antonio Inoki specifically.
Yes, the creator of New Japan Pro Wrestling, if you didn't know.
So after the early going of this match, we saw Okada get worked over pretty well. The man looked weak as shit.
Yeah.
Then Okada starts wailing on Shibata in the turnbuckle and actually gets heat from this.
To me, this is very reminiscent of, if anybody listening that is a New Japan fan, this is very reminiscent of the 2013 G1 Climax final between Naito and Tanahashi. Both babyfaces coming into the match, but the crowd was clearly behind the not normally favored babyface, and they were behind Naito in that match, which, spoiler alert, that sets up his heel run 2.5 years later. But
2 years later!
Yeah, more than 2
you
years
heard that?
Later. But they were very much behind Naito in that match, and Tanahashi, the face of New Japan, the biggest babyface of New Japan, was getting heat in that match. I mean, this match, Shibata and Okada, wasn't quite at that level, but Okada was getting heat for some stuff because the crowd wanted to see Shibata. And
that was a very cool thing because Okada's supposed to be the beloved champion.
He's the new face of
he is the man in New Japan Pro Wrestling, okay? However, in this physical competition between two men who were just basically trying to work each other, maybe Okada getting worked more so than anything else.
For sure.
So basically, Shibata working the living shit out of Okada. Okada could not respond promptly or in a way that was favorable to the fans.
No.
So he just started wailing on the guy, and the fans said, "No, man, we don't want that shit."
That's very un-Okada. Like, he doesn't take a lot of cheap shots. He'll back off in corner and rope spots. But no, he was going in a little bit.
But that is how you tell a story.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't beat the guy at his own game. So what do? You just gotta go to the fucking well, do whatever you can to fucking get back at this guy because he's kicking your ass for the first 10 minutes of this match. Then after the man gets wailed on in the corner and the heat is exchanged from babyface to fuck off, Shibata retaliates with a solid running boot and the crowd goes absolutely apeshit for this because Shibata is over as all hell at the moment. Both men exchange forearm hits, but Shibata gains momentum and straight up fucking potatoes Okada in the fucking... That is the theme of this match. The potatoes, the forearms. And if you don't know what potato means, it's hitting a motherfucker as hard as possible. And Okada got rocked so many times during this match.
You can hear it in other matches too, but like the popping sound from the forearms and the kicks. And I mean, like, some of that is enhanced with leg slaps, but not really in this match, man. No. These
fucking hits were as real as you could possibly get. I mean, maybe they took the edge off. Maybe someone increased the volume on the microphones. I don't know what happened, but
not by much. That was
to the audience. We believed this guy died 8 times during this match. I've never seen a guy die so many times. He was dead plenty of times during this match. Okada finally forms some form of offense with a dropkick sending Shibata to the outside with a bad knee that Shibata was working on prior to this. Okada does his best Orton impression by DDTing him on the outside.
Yep.
So we got a little outside the ring stuff going on. And after, I believe, a 17 count, Okada gets Shibata back in the ring. Doesn't want to end it, on a fuck finish.
Yeah.
Finally gets some momentum back. Then Shibata encourages Okada to hit him as hard as possible. And that is where Shibata gains his momentum back. Not because he allowed a man to hit him, because now Okada has to play his game. After a few strikes, Shibata retaliates with the hardest fucking forearm of all time. Once again, Okada dies. This was the theme of the match, folks. I did not repeat my previous statement. He did it again. He's died. This is the 9th time that Okada's been dead. Shibata has Okada on the bottom turnbuckle and then starts forearm smashing him, but hitting him in the face and chest. So a fluid combination of face chest. It's
like what you call it? Like the violence party, Super Dragon.
The forearm violence party, exactly. Okada connects with a boot, and regains some form of momentum. Not much. Okada tries to hit the Rainmaker clothesline. Shibata reverses it with an STO. Both men exchange sickening hits on their knees at each other. So it's the old school, both men on their knees, can't get the job done, gotta slap the living shit out of each other.
They weren't on their knees. They were sitting Indian style.
No, this was before that.
Okay.
This happened. That happened later on. After a great springboard dropkick, Okada goes for the pin, and for some reason, Red Shoes counts the
even
pinfall.
though his right shoulder was up
the whole
time.
was not kind of up.
Yeah,
was not.
It was clearly off the ground.
A little bit. It was literally as high as you could possibly go.
Yeah.
But that was setting up for an armbar. I don't remember what it was called. Whatever Lesnar used to do in the beginning of his career. It was for some reason I said the Kokita clutch. It's not the Kokita clutch. I fucked up.
Basically where Shibata's on his back, Okada's kind of laying like face down, and he's got the arm like wrenched up.
I don't remember what that is. And I wish I could Google it right now, but I'm not going to Google it at the moment. Anyways, this is the only time oh no, I'm sorry. Okada challenges the pin. Okada challenges the him. Oh, this is where he challenges him to the slap off. Why did I write in 8 font? I can't read this shit. Okada challenges him to a slap off by sitting Indian style in the middle of the ring. And this is the only time maybe in wrestling. You won't see this in WWE.
No.
You won't see this in maybe a few American promotions you might see this in. But this is the only promotion I have ever seen where 2 men look at each other. Okada sits down, looks at Shibata and says, sit down. Crisscross Indian style. We're going to slap the fucking piss out of each other.
I enjoyed this. This was just fucking boys being boys, just a straight up pissing contest. And I loved it. I loved it. Every second of it.
I think that's why New Japan is so good. Is because it is just guys that go out there.
The amount of machismo in this match.
They go out there. In Japan, it's all about the fighting spirit. Yeah. It's about how hard you could get hit and come back up. It's not even how hard you could hit. It's about how hard you get back up.
It's about the Bushido.
Yes. Shibata responds with the best fucking... I'm sorry. After 2 sit-out drop kicks by Okada, Shibata responds with the best fucking German suplex of all time, landing Okada right on his fucking head. Okada tries again to execute another clothesline to put Shibata away. However, he can only hit a half-assed clothesline, which doesn't really move Shibata at all. Then, the goddamn most amazing thing I've ever seen in my entire life happens. Shibata straight up, no joke, no bullshit, headbutts the living fuck out of Okada.
And this isn't like a headbutt to like the temple or whatever to try to dull the pain. This was skull of the crown to the skull of Okada's crown. The crown of Okada's skull.
I don't even know if this might be on YouTube. If someone could put this on YouTube, please do it.
Yeah.
Because it is the damnedest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
The impact was audible.
And no leg slap could accomplish this.
This was a very dull thud, but you heard it.
This was the hardest thud you've ever heard another man execute on another fucking human being. Okay, there wasn't some dude on the outside fucking going like that with his fist. No, this was skull to skull fucking contact. Hard enough to make Shibata bleed. Physically bleeding from his forehead.
One of the greatest, just scenes or stills I've ever seen. It's just when after that, they cut to Shibata and he's smiling and you just see the stream of blood start coming down his face.
Zooms in on the man. Smiling.
It was fantastic.
Bleeding.
And I'm not generally the biggest fan of that much gore and shit, but I loved it. It was fantastic.
No. Here's the reason why. Because this wasn't blood for the sake of blood. No one gigged. This wasn't a gig.
Yeah.
Okay?
No one was doing a blade job.
No one was blading. This wasn't planned. Okay, my man was legitimately fucking bleeding because he headbutted the soul out of another human being, okay? This was the manliest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yes.
Okay, I've seen a lot of cool shit, but this was the coolest goddamn thing I've ever seen in my life. How do we know this wasn't bullshit? Because of the blood. Okay. Yeah. That's how we know it wasn't bullshit. If you wish to argue this statement, please go back and see it.
Yeah, there's no way they could have done any sort of blade job or anything like that. Because, Cannon was right on the headbutt and then right on him. And
there's no blade jump for fucking headbutting the shit out of another man, okay? Okada wins with 2 Rainmaker clotheslines. Bad Luck Fale comes out, beats the shit out of Gato and Okada, setting up for probably the next feud. But fuck Fale. Yeah. This match was so goddamn good.
Yeah.
And
didn't want it to end.
No. And the funny thing about it...
This would have been a great time for a Fight Forever chant.
If they could say Fight Forever.
Yeah. Even though that chant is starting to get overused now.
Here's the thing. I ran through the ending here because guess what? Shibata was the star in this match.
Oh, for sure.
This match was so good because of... I'm not taking anything away from Okada. Yeah. Okada's great and he's amazing. You can't... It's the fact that a new guy, a new face, and God, Shibata's work is just so... His body of work is phenomenal.
And everything he's done in like the last year or so is just... From where he was, he's really shot himself up the card.
I distinctly remember, okay, seeing this guy. I don't remember when. Maybe it was with Goto 2 Wrestle Kingdoms ago. Maybe a
Wrestle
year.
Kingdom 9? Yeah.
The big one that happened that came over here to the States. The one that really put him on the map over here.
What do you mean they came to the States?
Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Oh, you mean when they first...
Yeah, it was the first English broadcast.
With JR and Matt Striker?
Yeah. I don't remember where I saw him, but I do remember seeing him at this year's Wrestle Kingdom and going, the wrestler?
Yeah.
Is this for real?
Yeah.
Guy comes to the ring. He just walks to the ring with a fucking towel. A face that is just as serious as possible. Like someone just told him his dog died. Walks out there with his head down. Doesn't say a fucking word, okay? And I went, this guy looks okay.
Yeah.
Then him and Goto had the goddamn greatest match I've ever seen in my life between two guys who just wanted to kill each other. This match really put this guy on the map. Big time.
Yeah.
As if he wasn't on the map already, but holy fucking hell, man. If you don't see anything else from this fucking show, watch this match.
Yeah.
Okay? The Okada... And that says a lot for Okada, because he's in 2 matches so far that have been so fucking good this year.
The 2 matches that are above and far and beyond match of the year.
Anything else that I've seen in any form of competition in any sort of wrestling this year. Other than that, I guess we're getting Bad Luck Fale and Okada. I am not excited about this. I really don't care.
I don't hate it, but like I don't really love
Coming off of this match?
Yeah, no.
You can't... Put Bad Luck motherfucking Fale against Okada.
You want to see more Shibata, but I mean, I guess Omega went right down to the mid card after his match, so.
Omega?
Yeah.
Oh, well, gotta do something to hold over.
Well, and I'm sure this will be just kind of like a blow-off feud, or not a blow-off feud, but like a minor feud rolling into G1, and then you'll have the G1 climax, and then you'll get your...
To quote-unquote throw a bone at the underboss of the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Who, we already said before... Bullet Club's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, but
it's
I mean, like...
pretty much dead.
I mean, they are looking for another top heel guy, Gene. And, I mean, looking at Fale, he should be a top-tier guy. He's a really big dude. He should be imposing. Like, so...
Imposing
and it did get to the finals of the New Japan Cup, so, I mean... I don't...
He got to the finals against fucking Shibata, dude. And Shibata is... 1,000 times better than this guy.
Yeah.
In any form of fashion. Looks better,
like,
works better.
You're not going to get a WWE big man kind of match. You're going to get a better match than that. So I wouldn't sell this match short, but I don't think it's good. It won't. It's not going to live up to Okada or Shibata.
Off the top of my head.
Or Omega and Shibata.
Okada looking up and going, oh no. And Fale throws him around for about 5 minutes, and then Okada hits him with a fucking clothesline, and that's it. There goes your match. I don't see anything else going on.
I think we got a little more than that.
Okada's going to sell half the time.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure.
He's going to sell, and that's it. That's pretty much all it is.
You got to make the big guy look strong, but...
In conclusion, this big match, the big main event, same as Goto. Okada got his fucking ass whipped for about 30, 40 minutes. He managed to somehow clothesline the man twice to end it all after. And now I guess it segues into what I wanted to say before with Goto and Zack Sabre Jr. If I witness a man, and this goes for both matches, if I witness a man getting worked to hell, dying multiple times in the form of Okada, not really Goto so much, he just got fucking worked over.
Yeah.
How can these men just whip out one move, which is their finisher, so I guess, and just win the match? That is the logic that I don't understand, because if I'm watching a guy physically dying out there, why do I think he could all of a sudden just create magic, perform one move, win the match?
Because in any other sport or any real fight, and sure this tactic is used a lot in wrestling, but just... It shows your perseverance. It shows the
fighting spirit,
your durability. You'll be able to bounce back. That you're never truly out of the fight. They went to this well twice in this pay-per-view. Although I will say that Okada got in more offense, especially in the second half, than Goto did throughout the match.
Here's the thing between both of these matches. Okay, the fighting spirit I can believe came from Goto, because he was really, for the most part, in a lot of submission holds and a lot of mentally, assaulting maneuvers, I guess, whatever you want to call it, something that attacks your mind because your body's being worked over. Okada died multiple times to physically harming maneuvers from another man's fucking fist and or feet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So not only was he getting worked, not only was he being murdered on television, but all of a sudden 2 clotheslines and he's barely alive.
Yeah. He did get a little more of, I guess, the Roman Reigns treatment in this match, but...
I'll say.
Yeah.
I guess for me, if I see another guy getting completely worked over, I cannot believe that he is going to come back with clotheslines, no less, okay? Clotheslines.
Yeah.
And I guess that I get that's his finisher. I'm not gonna sit here and complain about it because finishers obviously have some sort of magic where they do a lot more.
If they've got a special name to it, it's
generally
it adds impact.
Yes, if it's got the Rainmaker clothesline, it's got way more HP and attack damage than anybody else's fucking clotheslines. But I guess that's my gripe with all this is that,
the way this match played out, there's got to be more to this, and Shibata's got to win the title at some point.
If Shibata doesn't win the title within the year, I will stop watching New Japan. I like Kenny Omega. Kenny's fine.
Yeah.
But Shibata's the goddamn fucking man.
Yeah.
And I will not accept anything else.
For each of Okada's last three feuds, you could arguably say that his opponent, and that was the time to put the belt on his opponent. I think Shibata, more than Suzuki, more than Omega, is the guy they need to put the belt on.
Suzuki?
Yeah.
How old is Suzuki?
Suzuki's 40-something.
Why would you put it on a 40-year-old man? I get he's a good heel, he's a great character.
Because he's a great heel and he's a fantastic. He's still even at that age, he's never held the belt before.
Oh, he's never held the belt before. Okay.
No, he's been the GHC champion because they did the whole when New Japan was had this alliance with Pro Wrestling Noah. Suzuki-gun went over and invaded there and took all the belts, and he was the champion there for forever. But he's never held the IWGP Championship belt, and he's over, and he's still, even at 40, whatever he is, he's still a phenomenal worker. And with Suzuki-gun coming in hot and going against Cass, I thought that was the time to put the belt on him. But no, Shibata more than Suzuki, more than Omega. Shibata needs to get this belt.
Well, we will see where this heads, and I'm kind of excited because I'm excited because this was a great fucking pay-per-view. 1. 2, I'm not that excited because of Fale's involvement.
Yeah.
And boy, oh boy, Fale could really stop me from watching this shit because when I found out him and fucking Shibata were in the finals, I didn't really want to care. I didn't really give a fuck. I was not going to watch it.
I think you need to get over that a little bit. I think that New Japan has a tendency of always of delivering on shows. Way more than WWE.
True.
Even New Japan's worst show is better than most of WWE's best shows.
And even if the main event doesn't deliver, the undercard will deliver in some form or fashion.
Yeah. I think you need to go in with an open mind on this. And sure, it's not going to live up to Omega and Shibata, but I still think it'll be a worthwhile match.
Anything Shibata's in, I will gladly watch. I can safely say that.
For sure,
And I love Zack Sabre Jr.
Shibata's going to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, so.
I love Shibata. I love Zack Sabre Jr. I love Kyle O'Reilly. I love Roderick Strong. However, Shibata's making a strong statement in my top 3 right now.
For me, Shibata's my I mean, I'm personally bigger on O'Reilly than Sabre and
at the moment
and Roddy, but Shibata's probably my new guy too.
At the moment, man, I'm struggling between him and Zack Sabre.
Yeah, I mean, Roddy's
at the bottom at the moment because Roddy's not doing anything. Yeah. I'm not saying he's a terrible worker. He's just not doing anything right now. He's fucking hanging out with No Way Jose.
Yeah.
Okay, he's with No Way Jose and fucking Ruby Riott right now. Meanwhile, Shibata's over here killing himself on pay-per-view, but we'll see how all this plays out.
But yeah, no. Watching this, and I've been trying to get back into ICW lately too, but watching this stuff, it's reminding me why I love wrestling. I was getting a lot of fatigue from covering WWE.
Yeah.
And I was on the verge of not wanting to do this show anymore because I couldn't stand watching all of that wrestling. But it reminds me that I actually love wrestling and I'm not just doing this to do it.
Well, WWE, I think if anyone's listening to this and they've heard our WWE stuff, it's just mentally draining. There's so much television to watch.
It's a love-hate thing with me for WWE because it's what we got into the industry with. It's what we got into the wrestling business with, and
we're hanging on for hope.
It's the major leagues, and you love it, but you also see what's going on, and it's very hard to watch, and it's too much to watch. Like, I think WWE was so much better if it just scaled back the television.
Well, for anyone out there that even remembers seeing this or hearing about this, at one point, they said they were trying to outdo Wrestle Kingdom 11.
Yes. They couldn't even outdo this show, and this isn't even on... I mean, it's still a bigger pay-per-view for them, but it's not Wrestle Kingdom.
The main event of WrestleMania could not even outdo the fucking pre-show match that was on this card at all.
It couldn't lace Gato and Shadow's boots.
Oh, no. Not even muffin-ass boots could be laced by anybody in WWE at the moment. Well, long story short, everybody, watch Japan's product. Watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yeah. I don't know if there's... I think the DDT's out there. I'm not sure. I think they're like the Jakara of Japan.
Yeah, they're like the...
They're very comedy heavy, but...
Yes. If that's what you're into.
Still a fun thing.
Yeah.
Japan, the reason you need to get into Japanese wrestling right now is because it's very serious. It's a very serious product. Yeah. So you could physically and mentally invest in this stuff.
If you are more of a fan of wrestling and not so much sports entertainment and superstarring, watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. Watch other Japanese promotions. Watch ICW. ICW gives you the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
With that.
There's other stuff out there, everybody. Yeah. And if it wasn't for other stuff, I think I would probably hate taking notes every week to watch fucking Monday Night Raw, which I'm going to have to do tomorrow, because thanks to PlayStation View, I get to watch Raw live and get to die for 3 hours.
Yeah, you don't get the 90-minute who's.
You know what? Anymore. Speaking of, and we'll end this soon, but speaking of not getting into the product anymore, and I did not fall asleep during this whole show.
I generally feel, and I worked my day job today. I generally feel tired watching the show. I think I felt it for 2 minutes, and like early on the show, and that was it. I was invested.
When we watch WWE and any WWE pay-per-view, I am like half asleep. Yeah. I am like, let's record the fucking episode, let's talk about it, and let's all disperse and go the fuck to sleep because we all need to go to bed. This shit was it was engaging. Okay, they engage you. The crowd is hot when they need to be hot. Yeah. It's almost like the crowd knows when to get hot, because they get hot when the time is right.
Yes.
So New Japan doing everything right. If you haven't watched, please watch. We're not promoted. We're not sponsored by them. We're telling you this is fucking amazing. You need to watch this shit.
For the price of 9.99 yen, which is actually cheaper in American dollars, it's like 8.40 and change or whatever it is. The exchange rates vary by a few cents every month, but yeah, it is cheaper than WWE Network. And you get real the sport of professional wrestling.
The sport. So you get interviews. You get sweaty men cutting interviews who haven't taken a shower yet. That's how sporty this gets. Yes. And guys going out there slapping the living fuck out of each other.
Yes.
And before we leave you guys, I personally want to extend another invitation to watch something else that I was telling Anthony before we started watching. If you like New Japan and you like Japanese wrestling, I will strongly encourage that you go to YouTube, type in Io Shirai and Mayu Iwatani. 2 women in a Joshi promotion, right? Joshi wrestling. Stardom. It is a Japanese promotion in Japan, obviously, that is all women. When you think all women promotions, you automatically think soft, fluffy, kind of, not too heavy. Io Shirai is my favorite import at the moment. I love.
She's not even an import. She hasn't come to America yet.
Not yet. She will be here soon for the tournament. Yes. 32-woman tournament coming up soon in the summer. However, I'm the biggest fan for this woman, and she hasn't even came over yet. But there's a match with her and Mayu Iwatani. They beat the shit out of each other. And I'm not talking about grabbing hair. I'm not talking about slapping. I'm not talking about fucking their boyfriends or fucking each other's boyfriends. They killed each other in the ring. So if you want to see 2 women go at it and murder each other, check out that match, because Joshi wrestling, much like New Japan, is real as it could get. Because they treat their wrestling very seriously. On that note, we will see you guys whenever we do more indie stuff. Well, me and Anthony will see you guys when we do indie stuff. We'll have Nick over on Wednesday for our WWE weekly stuff. And I guess we have PWG to do.
Yes.
I guess that'll be the next endeavor for the both of us, for the indie smarks of this little group we have here. Because Nick, can't be bothered to watch indie stuff. But anyways, everybody, that is our review for Sakura Genesis, and we will see you guys another time. Take care.